You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This isn't a blood hole. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network that has a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also like to dive into other nerdy subjects that all of us love to frolic about in our free time.
Nobody
Batman
does that.
Book Club is also part of Patreon. So if you want to help support the show, keep the generators running so we can continue frolicking, go to patreon.com/thebatmanpc. Now, thank you for listening to episode 232, Frolickers Unite, also known as Batman in March. You've heard his voice three times now already. He's our jolly Italian. It's Peter R. Verra. Peter, hello. Welcome back to the Batman Book Club.
It's great. Wonderful. Don't do any of that weird shit that you were talking about, but
Yeah,
it's great to be back here and talk about Batman.
Yeah, always. Yeah, we're going to talk about Batman. And Pete, you're glowing. This is about the time of year where you're glowing.
I'm glowing
Because it is baseball season. Baseball season
Yeah.
is underway. Peter loves
That's
the
great.
baseball season. So hopefully I'll be able to drag you away for the next couple months to do these wrap-up episodes. Because Pete's heavily involved. He's heavily involved. But yeah, you got a good glow about you today. Your Yankees won. Happy
Well,
about that. Good
Yeah,
for you.
it's wonderful.
I'm happy for you.
Good
Yep.
times.
All right. Yep. All right. Well, that's about all we got. So
Yep.
that'll do it. So Pete, you want to go ahead and plug away? You know?
That's it. There we go.
That's
Lauer
what we got.
Express.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's all we have. Let's
We
hop
just
into
turn
Batman
into like
comics.
Terrence and Phillip.
According to you, I've been Terrence and Phillip for a very long time.
You have been.
You've got to unearth that picture that you did of us of Terrence and Phillip. You tweeted it out a couple times.
It's on the
I'll
phone.
have to go search
somewhere.
that one. Yeah, it's somewhere deep in Peter's phone that no man dares venture except Peter Verra.
Sure.
Let's talk about new Batman comics that came out in March, shall we? Let's get to it. Let's get it. This is going to be the first time in a very long time that we don't kick off the wrap-up discussion with the latest and greatest Batman issue, because the this month's Batman issue did not come out on the first Wednesday of the month. So let's put a pin in that. Let's revisit that in about a half an hour, shall we? Okay. Instead, we kicked off our first Wednesday of the month, wrapping up a miniseries that you and I have been a big fan of, and that is Batman Full Moon. That's right. Werewolves by good old Rodney Barnes, with art by the Riddler Year One's artist. Let's credit him that way, because I'm always afraid I'm just going to just butcher his name.
Steven Subeck?
There you go. Pete said it. Pete nailed it.
I mean, I pronounce like Yugoslavian hockey players' names easier.
There you go. So now we default to you if there's ever a questioning on like how do you pronounce the name, it's just right to you, Pete. You've got it. You've got a glossary.
There's not even a Z in here. Like, you got trouble with this?
So anyways, so we're moving on. So this, I think this launched in October. Just 4 issues. We knew it was only going to be 4 issues.
It was just after October, because I remember us being like,
Okay.
oh, this would have been great during Halloween.
That's true. So they took last month off and then got this last issue in. In short, this has been one that I've really, really enjoyed. For even though it's not my like preferred Batman in the sense of like grounded, realistic, it's like these are the detours that I can take and have a blast with. And I think that the story is a great horror story, a great story for, the Halloween season to revisit. I think it comes out collected already in May. It's already set to come out in May collected. So if you've passed on this, buying it, wait just a little longer and you can get it collected. But this last chapter was really fun digging into, like werewolf lore and the Talbots. If you're a fan of, the Wolfman story itself, even with Universal Monsters, that the name Talbot comes into play there. Yeah, this was I don't know, this was a lot of fun, and it was not in a way that I didn't prefer or a way that annoyed me or bugged me or anything like that. But sometimes inclusion of Constantine, Zatanna can kind of be like, it's kind of delve a little too much for me. But I think they were juggled pretty well to not take up too much screen time and distract from Batman's story, but they were included just the right amount. In all, this is a good capper for this 4-issue miniseries.
Yeah, I dug the whole story. I thought Barnes did a great job kind of balancing like the whole gypsy aspect of like the werewolf from Universal Monsters and
Yes,
stuff, and
yes,
kind
exactly.
of moving it to Gotham City. To be honest, my favorite parts were the werewolf stuff. Like not to go,
Yeah.
Kong and Godzilla, but the werewolf fights between Batman and Talbot were kind
Hmm.
of some of the most interesting parts of the book, just because it's fun to see Batman almost out of his element sometimes in a way where it's well written,
Hmm.
which I can't say the same for some of these other books.
That's right.
But yeah, no, this is great. I look forward to the collected. I want to put this in my Halloween rotation.
Hmm.
It'll go up there with Long Halloween and not a little more Haunted Night really.
On a night, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm because I'm trying to think like what else did we add? We did what was that? What's that Batman ghost story? Oh man. Isn't Ghost in the title or something? I forget what the title is. There's
It's
none.
yeah, it's included in Haunted Night.
No, it's by somebody else. I can't remember that. There's another title I read every Halloween and I can't forget. I
Oh
can't
man,
forget what it's called.
yeah.
I'm having a brain fart. But
Yeah, it's good. Now I'm gonna be like, damn it, which one is that?
yeah, which is it,
Which
Lord?
one,
Come on,
Peter? Come on, you weren't
you host you
prepared.
are,
I
fraud.
know. I
Just
I
like
don't
the
know what I
Roosters.
what I say. I know, Peter. I
But
think so. What's
this is just
Subic?
enjoyable, and like you said earlier, it's out of my comfort zone
Yeah,
myself. Like I don't normally want to read stuff like this, but
agreed.
I kind of went on it at a whim, and I really enjoyed it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. The story itself, obviously, the art has to suck you in, and then the story's got to keep you there.
Mhm.
And I think both Barnes and Subic did like equal level of good because Subic his some of the art in here is like, oh man, he's great. I did not think in Riddler Year One that like, oh, this is an artist that could do horror really well. I did
Mhm.
not think that. Doug is, I mean, we talked about it Riddler Year One. We dug that story and the art was great and everything, but this he fits this especially a few pages and panels and stuff here, like out in the woods and stuff like that. Like the coloring is great. Images of just like the full moon and how he's got that moon. Somehow it feels like it's glowing, like there's a light under the page and it's glowing. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool too. And then the level of gore for you want werewolves fighting, you want some cool shit to look at and a bloody mess and everything, and all that's included. So uh I mean, remove that it's Batman, and like this still would have been a kick-ass like werewolf story that I'd have read, period. And then
Mhm.
inserting Batman into it was just like a nice bonus that made it a lot of fun.
What's
So,
your vibe on the whole Bruce Batman Zatanna relationship?
um, it feels like something, it doesn't bother me. I kind of don't care either way with it because for me, for some reason, and whether it's accurate or not, it feels like that's been a thing
No, it
almost like
has,
my
but
whole life.
she's definitely in my like top three of like Batman love interests.
Okay. So it doesn't feel as if like, oh my gosh, they're trying to shake things up and do something. It's like, no, I mean, pick your story, and it seems like it's been there in a lot of stories of Batman and
Mhm.
Zatanna. So it
For me,
doesn't
it's like
doesn't really bother me.
Zatanna's that girl you see at Spencer's, and you're like, ooh, she's kind of gothic, and you're just like, oh,
The
there you
one you
go, yeah,
call during October, and you're like, hey,
yeah.
how's it
So
going?
I kind of like it how Bruce is like, oh, okay, he's got a thing for goth
The
girls, right?
fishnet stockings. He likes them.
Yeah.
He's a fan. All right. So there you go. Yeah, check it out. Coming to DC Universe Infinite Ultra. in April, I'm sure. But yeah, the collected edition, worth a pickup. And that's it for the first Wednesday for now, Peter. So we go into the second Wednesday. Very excited. Batman Dark Patterns. We've had nothing but good things to say.
Mhm.
It's going to be 12 issues long, but we knew it was going to have four 3-issue story arcs in it. So last month's wrapped up. We both loved it. This month kicked off a new one. I'll let you have first grabs at it.
Well, it is the return of a villain I haven't seen in a very long time,
Hmm.
and very interested in it. Mr. Scarface makes his appearance,
Yeah.
and Daniel Waters just kind of keeps going on with what's been working for him, which is your typical detective Batman in a really weird on a really weird case. And in this instance, anytime the ventriloquist is involved, it's really weird because that damn dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of what we've come to expect from Waters. He's really leaning into the detective stuff. He loves having kind of this investigation Batman going on. Just kind of, he's always on the scene of the crime. It's something we haven't seen a lot of within the last 2 years. Batman actually investigating and doing crimes and like kind of
Yeah.
like not being pretentious and hanging himself from whatever the hell that shit was.
Oh yeah.
Which
In the
Waters is a
desert
part
with
of.
Barbados. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So this is just a breath of fresh air, but like there's that psychological aspect to it where there's the building that plays with your mind and the tenants
Hmm.
know it, and it's very fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm kind of digging it. Batman seems to kind of be one step behind in this case right here, and that's kind of cool to see because
Yes.
usually he's very well prepared and one step ahead, but he's definitely had to adjust in this mysterious building, and something's going on with this building. There's definitely more to meet the eye with it, so we'll see where that goes. But so far, I'm really digging this, and I got to give Daniel Waters a lot of credit because I thought he was a
Hmm.
bad writer up until now.
Yeah. I think it's a valid point of Batman being a step behind. And I really dig that because it's also done, and I think it's tricky to do that and not like put down Batman like, oh, he's a dumbass, or insulting his intelligence at all, because it's like you don't believe that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just when the reveal comes of like what's really happening in the building, you can tell like Waters has done a really good job, and then Sherman does a good job emoting of kind of like the shocked, like, oh shit, sort of feeling, which we should have as readers. We see like Batman that way too in the comic, and I think it's just like layered really well too, because you don't know what the story is going to be about, like this arc. The cover doesn't give away anything as you're peeling back
It doesn't
the
until you read
layers
the
of the
story.
onion. Yeah, exactly. And I think that it was just like really well done. Sherman continues to do really awesome layouts. Just seems like having a lot of fun with doing something original and different, like in
Yeah,
every
it, it
issue, which is
it's
really
kind
cool.
of it reminds me what Jannon's doing over in Detective. It's like just the way
Oh
that the
yeah.
panels are, and he's very creative where his panels are laid.
Hmm.
I call it panel placement, but I like layouts more.
Yeah.
And then
Um,
and nothing's ever like a true rectangle or a true square. There's always like something looks like this looks like
off.
a trapezoid, or I think the proper term is isosceles.
Hmm.
Like so like
There you go.
I
We're
was
in
like, oh,
geometry now.
I never thought I would use that bullshit word, but here I am talking about comic
Damn it.
books.
They
You
were
know,
right. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they were correct. We were going to be using this. I think it's what's cool is the level of almost like a little uneasiness as well in how Sherman draws some of the characters, especially the
Mhm.
bad guys, and like in like what this building setting is like. And then to like the way that they um tie up this police officer and stuff too, like a puppet, which is, your first indicator of what's to come. And then the reveal at the end with all the tenants in the building, and like I just think it's a great payoff to the buildup of the issue. And then
You
to
know what it kind of
have
reminds me of in a way? Dread. You ever see the movie Dread? Judge Dredd, the sequel, Carl Urban, which I think
no.
is a reboot.
Mm-mm.
Watch that, and I think you'll see some parallels.
Okay.
It's good. You'll like that.
All right.
Solid action movie. Jamie will love it.
It's not a flat out remake of Stallone's Judge Dredd.
I believe it's a complete and utter reboot. So it's
Okay.
Batman Begins.
All right. Got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, so the last two pages of the issue too, The one kind of is uh follows the cover,
Yeah.
gives a little bit more meaning to the cover, and then the very last page is something that's really awesome. That, definitely just like the previous three issues. Like,
Yeah.
sweet, can't wait to read the next one. And I think that goes like I said like 10 minutes ago. Art draws you in, but the story's gotta, keep you there. And I think all like the credit to Waters that he's, 4 for 4 on Dark
Yeah.
Patterns.
Really impressed. Really
Yep.
impressed.
Really happy about it. I do remember the dark days of mentioning him on this show.
Yeah. Yeah. And the backup story detective, more bullshit.
He heard you. That's what it was. He heard you. And he's like,
He's like,
man, I really
I gotta do better. Peter's
I
really
gotta
good at that. I gotta do
Peter's
better.
relying on me. Okay.
I can't let down Coach Peter.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Batman and Robin number 19 also came out the second Wednesday of the month. Demise of the dynamic duo, Peter? Oh my gosh, say it isn't so.
Yeah, that's been the underlying story of the whole actually the underlying story really kind of like the whole investigation, but
Hmm.
it's really been Robin essentially saying, "Hey, look, like this is like my last case," which has added an interesting dynamic because like I'm like, "Ooh, I like this. I don't like Damien."
Yeah,
So,
that makes
but
two of us.
yeah, this is just I'm again, thank God for Tom Taylor because it's there's just good moments here with Batman and Oracle and
Tom Taylor.
what
Oh,
are we
Kennedy
on the wrong
Johnson.
book? I'm on the wrong book.
Okay. All right. I was thinking like,
I
cool,
got my
Damien.
stack
Okay, yeah,
ordered. I was looking at the
yeah.
cover. I
Batman and
mixed
Robin number 19.
I had Detective Comics in my hand and we're talking about Batman and Robin. I am so sorry.
I mean, we'll get to Tom Taylor, and yeah, like, he's doing great stuff. There's a tease
Yeah,
for a conversation here in a few
because
minutes,
I'm
but
flipping through and I'm like, wait a second, Penguin wasn't in this story. But yeah,
Batman and Robin, number 19, Philip
which I
Kennedy
am holding in
Johnson.
my hand.
Hey, you know what? They're all Batman comics. Let's go
They
out of
are.
order. To
Everything
hell with
just
it.
blends in at some point.
Right. So
Yeah,
this
but again,
story, what do you think about
I'm
this one?
I like this one. Again, like you'll never find a bigger defender of Batman and Robin than me, but yeah, no, this is getting pretty intense because we're finally seeing Damian kind of like step out of his shell, and
Hmm.
it's been part of this whole transformation of Damian over the last couple of years, really,
Yeah,
to kind of make him less douchey.
he's more
Um,
tolerable. I will
yeah,
not
he
say
really is.
he's more likable or I'm a fan.
He's
I will
become
say
more
he's
likable, and they
more
want to take him
tolerable.
away.
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
let's figure out how that works. I feel like the book's not necessarily about the villain. Like the villain always kind of comes second to the relationship of Batman and Robin,
I
and
agree.
that's kind of what the forefront is. And it's just I'll tell you what, I like it more than what Taylor was doing because it's not as lovey-dovey. This seems to be more like tough love dad, which is probably more my alley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Williamson was on this before. And you really want to talk Tom Taylor, don't you?
Yeah, I'm
You're
sorry.
really
I
thinking
guess
about
this
Tom
coffee
Taylor.
isn't
Okay, we'll
working.
get there. All right. No, but I'm with you because that was something I kept bringing up too before was the whole, son, my son, my son, whatever. Johnson gets the point across without getting
Yeah,
too like cheeseball about it.
yeah.
And I like the Bruce coming in to talk to Damien in the study, and it's like a classic Batman in a way of like there's an ulterior, motive here, and it was to put a tracker on Damien's shoe as Damien thinks like, oh man, we have this like breakthrough of like, oh gee willikers, Dad, we're gonna go throw the pigskin down at the park together. And then that comes he finds the tracker as he's talking to the doctor and
Mhm.
it
And then he like talks into the tracker, so
yeah,
he knows that he's found, but it's very subtle. So it's weird because he's like continuing that conversation, but he's also talking to Bruce. At the
yeah.
same-
And this really cool and see so part of this story for sure I look forward to it being collected to reread it because I think there are parts that are getting fuzzy. Um, Pete, remember back in the day when you and I were reading like 30 issues a month to do this episode, do these recordings? Well,
Not that
now
far
it's
off.
like down to like 10. And I'm
It's
sitting
a
here
lot.
like, shit, what happened in Batman and Robin 18? And I'm a little blank on that until I start getting into like this issue. So the whole Batman having these visions of seeing these things and he's talking to someone, and somebody else
Mm.
is like, who are you talking to? I'm trying to process hold on, what happened? What is the
Yeah.
result of that? And he hasn't shaken like scarecrow toxin yet. I was like, oh, okay. But like I think all of that does kind of become a little secondary, like you said, and like the main focus is the Batman and Robin dynamic, and it doesn't have me rolling my eyes. So I
No.
think that's like props to Johnson on how he's doing that. So this has been a really good and fun arc. I don't know how many issues this arc itself is supposed to be, but I mean, it's so far so good. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, this is the sixth issue, I think, that Johnson's done.
Sounds about
Done
right.
really well. He's gonna do some things. Pete, let's move on and let's talk about Tom Taylor. You want to?
Finally. Finally.
It would be hilarious if you have in your hand, you open up the last Halloween, you start talking about it.
So let me tell you about what Loeb was doing here
Yeah.
again.
Did a great job here. All right, Detective Comics 1095. Peter, we're all waiting.
Yeah, this was really cool because they're doing stuff with Martha and Joe Chill, and they're adding an interesting dynamic here. What Taylor's doing, and there is some good Batman Oracle stuff in here as well. But it's just this book encompasses everything I think that Batman really is. From you got corrupt elected officials and Vandal Savage, right? Then you have him dealing with Penguin. Bruce is on this case. He's trying to figure out, and he enlists the help of Superman in a way that only Batman and Superman can. So Waid will be proud with that. Bill will hate it, but it was done really well. So it's kind of masterful. And we're just learning more about Joe Chill and like it's all kind of centered around the oath that a doctor takes, right? And like how
Hmm.
he's got to live
The
up to the oath or
Hippocratic
whatever.
Oath.
Yeah, and it's like, did it is that essentially what killed the Waynes? Like, it's
Hmm.
just, Thomas Wayne essentially just doing his job. So it's kind of an interesting angle, and I'm really enjoying it on all aspects. And I think Janin does a fantastic job with his interiors and his colors, and the book is just vibrant and just full of life, and it's really just wonderful. It's such a wonderful book, and the cover's amazing.
Hmm. I'm with you on definitely Shannon first is like or Yanin. The art is awesome.
It's probably Janin.
It's awesome art. And I was a little concerned, we knew this by the tease of the first issue that Taylor was on about like, it's gonna, something's gonna happen. It's gonna question Bruce Wayne's and the blah 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 Wayne or whatever. And it was like, eye roll, okay, you're gonna have to change it and something's not as it seemed. But he's done a really good thing here of this story does not disrupt the mythology of Bruce Wayne and
No,
Batman
not
at
like
all.
absolute bullshit.
Yeah. And I'm all for that because I think that's probably tricky to do as well. Like this totally could fit into the legend of Batman, and on top of that, Taylor's juggling some things. I always go to the term of juggling, but I think a lot of these writers on these successful books are juggling characters and story elements and beats and stuff, and they just do a really good job of balancing it all out and keeping Batman the focus. And there's some good twists and turns with this too. Um, the a cool confrontation between Batman and Joe Chill. Uh,
That was great.
maybe some people are a little more pure and think of that they don't want that, and Joe Chill's dead in my version or whatever. But it's like okay, but I
Really, because this is great because this is when you don't normally do this stuff. But like in my head,
really
like Joe Chill, to be honest, like they don't even know his name, and he's just out there. Like it was just some guy, you know.
that's
Like I know
my preference is there's no name
very
because
much
then
like
there is
Uncle
now
Ben's killer. Yeah,
yeah, then there exactly. Then there is no one person to take out and it's done. It's just the idea of crime. And the
yeah.
idea of this mugging gone wrong can happen to anybody. So therefore it's a never-ending
Because then it's not
battle.
about revenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it never bothers me though that it is Joe Chill is part of it or anything like that either. My preference. Um,
No, because then you get
but
good
this
moments like this, and then
exactly.
three Jokers. You know
Three
what I'm saying?
Jokers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Written by the goat.
that's right.
So, Mercy of the Father, Part 6. Tom Taylor,
Yes,
one of
that
Pete's
man.
favorites.
Couldn't stop talking about
he
it.
just couldn't. He couldn't wait. Couldn't stop.
Couldn't
Great.
contain myself.
This is a great issue. I don't know how. Again, this one too. I don't know how many issues this. I think Taylor, when announced on this book, I don't think that there was a finite. He's going to do 7 issues or 8 issues or anything. It was just he's coming to detective. So
Good.
if he keeps it up at this level, yeah, stay as long as you can. Keep it going. Oh, let's see what do I have next. Batman and Robin Year One, number 6.
I have misplaced this one. I don't think I picked it up. I think I somehow missed it at the store.
Missed the stack. Okay, I'll go
Yeah,
spoiler
so
free.
this is
Pete,
all Lauer. This is the Lauer show.
you've read the previous 5 issues.
Let's see.
6 is a continuation at the same level of quality by writer
Mhm.
Mark Waid and artist Chris Samney. Love the story, where it goes. Love the art, everything that Samney's doing with this. Great, like honestly, great uh piece, like moments of Batman and Robin, and then Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson in the Batcave that are like a really good. Like Waid is taking that title, Batman and Robin, and it's done in a very good like moments in the Batcave with the two of them together of being partners. I had a
That
friend.
sounds great.
I need a partner. Well, he got one. Robin got one. So I'll leave
Catboy,
it at that.
Nightwing. What's your good sidekick name?
How about Dick Grayson, college student?
Yeah, so this is great. We've now reached the halfway point of this story. Anybody who hasn't read it, high recommendation. We've been saying it since issue 1. It's
I've
kept
loved
up
it. Yeah.
that level. It continues here. Hop to it. Not hop to it. Hop to it.
Oh, you seem to have her on the brain lately.
It's on the hush tour. Coming soon.
Somebody's clearly been getting it in.
Moving on. Absolute Batman number 6. Now this one, Pete is ready to talk about Scott Snyder, Nick Gragata, I don't know. Absolute Batman's been something Pete has had opinions about for the past 5 months.
Yeah.
How'd
other
this
than,
issue hit for you?
I think this thing sucks. Like this just flat out. Like nothing was worse than like, you're in the wrong gym, pal. My name's Killer Waylon Croc Jones, and I'm gonna fuck you up. And then it's like, I'm Batman. He's like, oh Bruce, what are you doing? And then and then you got Cobblepot and like, Bruce, you didn't tell me you were Batman. What are you gonna do? And he's all upset now. What are we doing? And then they're having a slumber party. This is literally the stupidest thing anyone's ever written when it comes to Batman. I don't know how any of you think this is good. This is pure bullshit. And just doubling down, Bill's absolutely insane for telling me that Hushy's gaslighting me for years, and then tells me this crap isn't anything decent. I don't get it. I don't know what you guys are reading. What is this shit? Honestly, you tell me, because I don't know what it is.
I want to make sure to clip that and just send that to Bill.
I'll tell him again. I think
There's
he's
a love
delusional to
message from
enjoy
Pete
this.
to you.
This is absolutely absurd. This is the farthest thing from anything entertaining Batman I've read since Rom V's Detective Run. That's how bad this is. It's already on that level because it's not coherent. It doesn't make sense. It's dumb. It's not Batman. There you go. So I'm sure the Snyder Club will come get me for that one.
I read it, and when I talked to you, you hadn't read it yet. And I said that there's one part that I really like in this issue.
Is it when Batman stabs Roman Sionis in the eyes with his bat ears? Yeah, that was great.
No, that's definitely not it.
Yeah, of course it's not.
It's when Batman punts a kid.
It's fucking dumb, man.
Oh,
This is horrible.
That made me laugh. I was like, oh, that's good.
Like,
That's
give
great
me
stuff.
give me parts 6, 7, and 8 of the Snyderverse before I read this any more of this bullshit.
Here's the thing, Peter. All I'll say is this. All I'll say is this.
Yeah.
I don't like it's entertaining to me. I don't disagree with like points that you're making. I can read it and still get some entertainment out of it.
It's entertainingly bad.
I don't know as far as like, do I actually like if all of a sudden it said, I think this is where it speaks to my level of like, well, how much do I like it? DC out of nowhere says, we've canceled Absolute Batman. I'd be like, okay.
Thank you.
Like and then okay, I think that kind of speaks volumes, but I'm not going to say I don't enjoy it because if I flat out didn't, I'd stop reading it. So I do find some sort of enjoyment and like reading this. I think it just does go to extremes to try and do like what you and I were saying way back in issue 1 of like, hey, oh my gosh, isn't that cool? Look at this. Isn't that so neat?
Did you see the
Oh,
group
wait,
photo in
it's
the beginning?
Batman.
Selena's got cat ears. What do you
She's
think
got-
she's going to become?
Which is funny because there's people I know people that are like, oh, like roll their eyes at that kind of stuff, and then some for some reason here it is a complete like, oh, it's cool. And and like what you like. I'm not gonna shit on you for it at all, but it's just like interesting to me of like, huh, there are just things in this that I feel like anywhere else you don't like, but for some reason it's working here for you. And then to have, I mean, fast forward 30 seconds, maybe spoiler, whatever Joker's got an attached baby growing out of him and he's controlling everything. That's what that epilogue last page is.
I don't know
That's
what that was. I was like, is that a xenomorph?
uh
What the hell is that thing?
I uh
Dude,
okay.
Snyder has totally run out of ideas. And his
No, but
kid's probably
here's the
pitching
thing.
the shit.
You and I are the crazy ones though. So flat out don't like it. I'm still in the middle of the road with it.
No, this
Moments
is
I do like,
trash.
moments I don't. But you and I are some like we're in the minority though, because apparently a lot of people love this and it's freaking
Wasn't the
selling.
Joker a hunchback who couldn't get into an airplane?
He couldn't. Oh, he was getting out of an airplane, I thought.
Couldn't get an airplane? Now
Way
he's got a
back in issue 1.
white face. Is the hunchback the baby? Like, I don't know what
Yeah, I
this
don't
is.
know.
This is
I don't know
so
what that
dumb.
is. It's also a
This is
tease
so dumb.
that we'll figure out later on. Um, yeah, so this I don't know, like this issue I thought was um a more positive side of like fine for me.
Oh man, this is way more negative. I
So
thought this was one of the worst
yeah,
issues I've read. This is just it.
gotcha.
I can safely say I hate everything about this book. Like it's this is I didn't even hate V's detective. I just thought it was pretentious, and I was like, okay, you're just trying a little too hard. Like this just seems like just utter bullshit. It's just crap. I hate how big Batman is. I hate Jim Gordon's mustache. I hate Alfred looking like Ra's al Ghul. I hate everything about Martha Wayne is just a waste in my opinion. You know, the fact that they were all friends at some point is like it's just a bad idea.
You
I
mentioned
just don't get it.
before that you thought the history showed that like Gordon and Mar, I hate that. Mar, not Martha, Mar. Because Martha's too long to say, so let's just say Mar. And I'm gonna be like me calling you P. Hey P.
Another dumb decision,
Okay.
sure. Just add it to the list of this book.
But you said before it seemed as if they had or have a relationship, like getting it in kind of thing. Do you
Yes.
think that's so? You think that already? Do you think we're gonna see more of that in the future here? Because I think it's building toward it. I don't think that it's just like we're friends and friends. I think they're trying to. It's being written like they're going to end up being something, and that's eye rolly to me.
Either way, it's a horrible choice. Anyone who was upset about Batman smashing Barbara Gordon and Killing Joke, I don't want to hear anything from you. I don't want to hear anything anymore from you. Do me a favor, shut your mouth, please. I'd appreciate
All
it.
right.
You know? So
Well, let's move on to more positive thoughts. Batman Superman World's Finest, number 37, where we're
yeah.
back underwater. And I think last issue it ended where Superman was kind of sort of thinking about getting it in with a married woman. Bum,
I think
bum,
she was more
bum.
concerned about getting in with Superman, you right?
That's
I feel like
true.
that's what it
Yeah,
was.
okay. And then that backtracks and we get this was only a 3 issue 20,000 Leagues. It was only a 3 issue arc.
Which
I
is
should
perfect in my
note
opinion.
Mark Waid, Adrian Gutierrez, artist. What I've said the past 2 months, I think this was like same here. If this was my only Batman comic a month, I wouldn't want this, but it's not. It's one of like 9.
Mhm.
So I'm completely fine with this going places, expanding out in the DC universe and stuff because overall the story is actually really fun.
Yeah, this is a great DC underwater extravaganza. Batman, Superman, Swamp Thing, Floronic Man, just a lot of fun. Tension within in Atlantis, so there's that dynamic.
Hmm.
Um, I think the Batman characterization in this book is much better than the book we just talked about, in my opinion. And
Oh,
that
really?
includes Batman. Yeah, then, yeah, and that means Batman underwater
Surprise.
talking to superpowered. Um, so yeah, again, this is just a lot of fun. I'm with you. It's a nice little change of pace comic from everything else we've been reading because
Hmm.
it's totally different from everything. Obviously, it's more superhero Batman than it is crime fighter Batman,
Hmm.
and I'm fine with that. Every once in a while,
Take notes, James Gunn. Take notes.
I think all the notes should go to Scott Snyder.
Okay.
Um, James Gunn doesn't need any notes. I'm fully confident in his ability. Um, but yeah, I love this title. I like how, it's again just the wonderful palette cleanser. Oh, I want to get out of the streets of Gotham, maybe do something a little bit more bright. Superman's in this, so there's a little bit of that, and it's just fun to read.
Yep.
It's good. After several issues, you're just dirt, grime, murder, and all this jazz. It's cool to see Batman in a different light.
I think that's maybe the best point is so many issues of grimy, gritty, dirty, and
Hmm.
then this is just, which I think the world's finest book has pretty much done all along, is like it's been the brightest Batman book,
Yeah. I mean,
the
Detective,
most
we're
colors.
literally on a case about child murder, teen
Yeah.
murders, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this
Whoa.
is way
Shit.
lighter.
And Wade, I think he's one that is a celebrate the superhero genre.
Hmm.
He's not he just it doesn't feel like he's give me the grittiness, but then also it's like, but look what he's done with Batman and Robin year one. Like that's kind of gritty. That's very grounded. So I think
That's why
he's
Wade's
doing a
one of
great
the
job.
best writers of our generation. I mean, if he hasn't
Yeah.
proven to you why with these two titles, you'll never get it. I mean, it's just his way to adapt the characters in various forms and even slightly different characterizations, but at the same time, they still feel faithful,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Whereas other writers can try to create new things and it just looks like shit.
You like what piece? What I don't like on the last page
Just
though, it
laying it on as thick
says
as I can.
the next epic chapter in the DC All-In saga begins with chapter one of the world's finest Justice League Unlimited crossover, We Are Yesterday. Yeah.
See, I'm
Uh,
interested. I'm interested because I think this is the title to do that. And, this title for me goes on a story by story basis. I skipped one
yes.
story,
We both
you know,
have, I think, felt
and
that way since issue one.
and I think that's fine. And I think, and I think we've just been honest since issue one. That's what we're all
Yep.
about here.
The
So
I
I'm
agree.
interested to see what happens between the confrontation of comic and animated versions. So, you know, I'm all over live action multiverse, but in comic books, I feel like I'm still all about it.
Hmm. I think that's a good point. That this would be the book to do something like that. To do that crossover with. It's like I don't want, Batman issue 160 is a tie-in issue with the Justice League Unlimited crossover or any shit
And to
like
be
that.
honest, this book is old school DC.
Hmm.
It's where in continuity does this take place? What version of Batman is this? You can't tell me it's just a Batman Superman story. Like that's it.
Yeah.
It's just like I said. It's a DC extravaganza. It doesn't tell you where it takes place. It doesn't need to. It's old school DC. It's just here. Read it. You
Hmm.
know.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna move on now to the last Wednesday of the month. And Pete, this is the main event.
This
Is some
was
good
it.
shit.
You're not even joking because the
I'm
two
not.
biggest titles from one man came out this month, and
Yeah.
let's be honest, they didn't let down either way. Anyone who's telling you otherwise is completely and utterly full of shit. So let's just get that out of the way.
I messaged you guys and said I went and picked up, so I picked mine up the day after it came out. Went to the comic shop, and this comic shop's in downtown Chicago. It
And that's where you
was
should go to buy these things at comic shop. You shouldn't be reading them
yes.
digitally.
I think I either way, but
Just to
I'll say
talk to
it was
people.
fun walking into the comic shop, and they said it was the busiest that I've seen it. Not saying it hasn't been this busy or anything, but busiest I've seen it in quite a long time. There
Yeah,
were
it's like you're
tons of
anticipating
people.
anticipating something.
This is the day after it came out,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was, and so yeah, it was really, really busy. And I was like, this is cool. Um, so I picked up my issue of Batman 158, also known as Hush 2, Chapter 1, written by Jeph Loeb, art by Jim Lee. Now, first off, tons of variants as of issues, covers. And the reason that I wanted to wait and grab mine in Chicago is because I was hoping that, as you know, my favorite Lee Bermejo's variant cover was going to be available at that comic shopping. Damn it, Peter, it was. So of course I picked that sucker up. Great cover. Great cover. Love it. I did not pick up the giant sized 11 by 17, but I was slightly tempted.
My store
Pal of
didn't
the
have
show,
that, actually.
Pal of the show, Austin, he sent it to me that he did get that one, and he said it's awesome, and then was like, I don't know how I'm gonna store this, and that was kind of
Is that
stuck
a
in my head.
treasury?
Oh,
Is that the size of a treasury issue?
bigger,
It's bigger than a treasury?
yeah, man. Like
Wow.
like the prints that you can buy. You bought Jay Lee's print at New York Comic Con, right?
It's as big as a print, huh?
I think
Wow.
like yeah, like I think it's 11 by 17. Sucker was
Yeah.
big. It's bigger than Absolute. It was awesome. I did pick one up and was flipping through it and was like, oh, should I? But then I'm committing to the next 5 ones of paying $15 for each one too. And I'm like, God damn,
$15
I
is
can't do
steep.
that.
Wow.
It is. Awesome though. It was awesome. So anyways, back to this issue. Um this I had expectations in check. I'm like, this is chapter 1 of there's going to be 6, there's going to be a break, and then a final 6, which I think Loeb and Lee have both said is going to kind of be like the final word on Hush, period, etc. When I read Hush, it was at my own leisure. I wasn't reading the original one issue at a time each month. All
Okay.
that. I'm not just gonna have my socks blown off like this is the greatest story of all time and it's only issue 1, any of that shit. But I freaking read this, and then I read it a second time, and I'm gonna read it a third time because I thought this issue freaking rocked. Loved
They
it.
picked right up where they left off
Yep.
with that. Well, when
Yep.
they teased it, when did they tease this was coming? They did us a little epilogue somewhere.
They did the epilogue in the 20th anniversary hardcover, where
Yeah.
Batman dives into the river, and then Hush ends up swimming up ashore, and Joker's right there in his mob outfit with classic Harley.
Yes. Okay. So that that got me going when I saw that. We were all excited because I have the 20th anniversary. I'm very excited to get that hardcover. But this feels like it was written like the day after Hush ended. Like it just picks right up.
Feels like it.
I mean, the artwork, it feels like vintage Lee. Like it I feel, and it's just the way it's also set up. Like the dialogue parts are written in that like faded blue, and like, I feel like I'm rereading Hush. Like I just feel like I'm immersed in
even
that world again.
First panel of like the cursive. I made a promise on the grave of
Yeah.
my parents for the like that was every single
And then
one of Hush.
you open the book up, and immediately I'm
I know where you're
getting
going.
Richie Aprile quotes, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm sure only the real ones will know. But the fact that Loeb was able to get that in there is absolutely brilliant. I never like it. I wasn't expecting it, and then I read
Loeb
it.
got
and
it
I was
in. Is that what you're saying?
not as much as you lately, but
Okay.
yeah, he did. And I was floored. I was just shell shocked. I couldn't believe. I was like I couldn't believe he stuck that line in there. Like and like I knew exactly what it was. But I mean, and then you throw in everything with Talia. I mean, this book is absolutely beautiful. It's like Jim Lee hasn't stopped drawing art. Like it's like he hasn't been running the company for the last 10 years,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if
Yeah.
he actually has been, but it's been a while. Yeah, this thing just picks right up, and I'm ready to see where it goes. And oh man, Tommy Elliott, like
This is fun.
man,
It's just like so it sequel to the classic Hush story. It's classic.
you don't have to tell me.
No idea where or what it was going to go. Last episode dropped. Me and Haas went through the Hush saga.
Mhm.
You know, trying to catch everybody up because it's funny how this does say Hush too, but this is the
You're not a fan of
fifth,
Gotham
technically.
Knights, huh?
That's like I didn't like Hush Returns, the first sequel. It's so I don't know all that, but like none of that really matters.
I agree.
You know, we talked
It's
about
just
these sequel
trying to make an
stories and
argument
how
that
they're
doesn't
fun.
exist.
Heart of Hush is freaking awesome and excellent. If nobody's read it, if you haven't read it, you definitely should read it. But it's like this chapter, it felt classic in the sense of like this is a a Denny O'Neil Neil Adams issue that you just picked up and you just start reading. This is an Englehart and Rogers issue that you just pick up and start like that's how it felt. You don't continuity doesn't matter. You didn't have to be all caught up with what Zdarsky did and all that. And I know this is just the first issue, but it just like you could just jump right in. And I'm like, see,
I
that's
know, I know.
excellent,
It's,
excellent. And
if
then I did
anyone
learn
trying to
something.
say anything otherwise, I'm telling you, it's a reach.
The
It's a real stretch here, pal.
and I credit you for sure because I haven't watched Sopranos, so I didn't know the reference. I just thought it was funny, and it felt very like that's what Joker would say. So then when you shot back to us of like, holy shit, like Sopranos on page one, and did that, and then you posted the YouTube clip of that scene and stuff, and I watched it and everything. I'm like, awesome, brilliant. I'm sure Peter was just like, oh my God, Jeph Loeb, you son of a bitch, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And then and then like to just get to the story itself, then I think it's interesting of immediately what we see on opening pages and how Batman even says too. Like for us, we know this is referencing a classic Joker story, and then Batman also is like saying the same thing of like Joker doesn't repeat like his jokes. He doesn't
Mhm.
repeat what's going on
Yeah.
here with this. And I'm like, that's an interesting nugget.
We're
You
just
said
you're
Talia.
on the investigation with him. That's what makes it so
Yeah.
great. Like
And then
Loeb just knows how to write these detective stories.
yeah, and the quick conclusion of Nightwing and Batgirl, totally works. Uh and then what Hush Jeph Loeb, you twisted man with Hush and Joker.
Yeah, the
That's
surgical knives.
awesome.
Yeah, I
It's
was.
pretty twisted, but it's awesome. And I love the dilemma that he kind of puts Batman in, by
Yeah,
issue's end. Ah,
this it's
great issue.
brilliant. To me, it's already lived up to the hype. One
Yeah,
issue in, like at least the
yeah.
first issue has. Like it delivered on every aspect it should have done. It's an incredible story already. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. I just to be honest, like I read this book and I'm like, God, where's Jim Lee been last couple of years? Like I need you to start drawing again, man.
Yeah,
Like
just
I
do
love
that.
getting more of it. Like man, Jim Lee. Jim Lee's Jim Lee.
Yes,
That's why like I always had a problem with people like Hush is just a way to showcase Jim Lee's. Yeah, no shit. You hire the
because
biggest artist in the game. Yeah, this is what you do. Great, good for them.
I
That's what
think
they
that
should have done.
became like to say that the story is only that, I think is not.
It's a disservice, and you're
Yeah,
insulting Lee's art because you want to know something. His art should be showcased and
yeah.
it should be displayed, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I
Anyone using that as an
I do think
argument
it's
against Hush is an idiot.
yeah, I think you can say with Hush like it's a Jim Lee showcase for sure of like his art looks fantastic the whole book. Plus, like what have I've said twice already, the art gets you in, the story keeps you there. Like then the story itself is also a lot of fun too. Like
They literally go punch for punch through the whole
so
book.
um shit, what was I just gonna say? Oh, speaking of like Joker, I think it's a common complaint of the original Hush story of Lee's Joker is like, that's not my favorite version of like his Joker is probably my least favorite in drawn. He looked a little different here, but like more filled out and less gangly and stuff. And I thought he looked good. I think like
Sure.
this is one issue, but just looks better here
Okay, that's
than
fine.
the other stuff. So also that like moot point that doesn't freaking matter. Just doesn't freaking matter. Uh, don't wait. Buy this issue and read it. I'm not gonna say like just wait for the DC unit.
Magnificent.
No, buy it. Like buy this
Yeah.
freaking issue. Lock yourself in for 6 months of like buying the Batman title for this story, and then you can cop out. But like read it, freaking read it. Just read
I
it.
walked into my comic shop. Every variant known to man, except for the gigantic one, was laid out on the counter. Like people were talking
And you
about
were
it. Like
like,
everyone was hyped.
yeah.
It felt like it was back in the day, man. Like it felt like in the middle of Hush, and it's just people are
It's
anticipating
good.
this, and
It's
it's
good for
already
Batman. Like in the end, like it's freaking it's great for Batman. If you're gonna get people to read Batman comics against like fucking yeah, awesome.
yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
Do it. Do it. Ugh. And now Pete, you'd think like, okay, that was the main event, right? We're done. No, we got more Loeb to talk about. We've got Batman the Long Halloween, the last Halloween, issue number 6. This time, Enrico Marini on the art. And I'm gonna be quick and say last month, my least favorite issue. Part of that is because I'm not a Bill Sienkiewicz fan, not a big fan of his with art. Just doesn't resonate with me. We've
You can say
rebounded
that
this
name pretty
month
well.
with I know with with Marini, in which you and I both is it Dark Prince Charming.
Yeah, Marini's my guy.
You and I love that book. Um,
This almost feels more like Marini paying tribute to Sale in many
I
aspects. I
agree.
feel like it's
Yeah,
a
but
little bit more polished.
not in a knockoff way by any
No,
means. But like,
like
yeah.
he's definitely honoring him in
Hmm.
his own way, like almost kind of combining their two styles because it's
Yeah.
not truly Sale and it's not totally Marini. It's like it almost reminds me. Oh, what was his name? He did the Walmart Batman books. I can't remember his name. It was like
Oh
Batman
man.
Universe or something.
Yeah. Who
Kowalski loves him. I think
Darrington?
yeah,
Nick
it's got
Darrington.
it gives me a Darrington vibe.
Nice. Yeah, I love Darrington's art in that story. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Marina here, yeah. So you said a little more polished, which I really like. Definitely more nodding to sales style, which I dug that. Dark Prince Charming is like watercolor. Um, Marini's Instagram account, he's fantastic artist. Not for children though on Instagram. Like,
Very Jim Ballant.
don't look it up at work. Um,
Well, that
but the
sounds horrific.
story, and so then there we go again, same theme. Art, because that's what's changing every single issue and every month. So of course we're going to comment on that more so. But then Loeb is just doing his freaking thing here, where he is writing exceptional Batman. Like
Hmm.
awesome chapter. What a great rebound from last month. And I'm not by any means trying to just dump on last month's issue. It's just like, oh, like that's how I felt by the end of that issue. It's like, I feel like I don't love this issue, and I could maybe if the art was different. But here, like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's Loeb is always building on what he's provided, you know,
Hmm.
and taking us in a way that we don't exactly know, but not leaving just no questions answered. Um, and he's guiding us in a really like fun and interesting direction. Really great scene, and I wrote it in my review for Batman on Film with Batman and um Robin in the Batcave, and how in Dark Victory, there's as Batman's looking at clues, and you have the panels that Sale drew where, Dick Grayson's over on this side, next panel he's on this side, then he's up here, and Alfred encourages Batman of like, let him assist, like work with him, see, like pick his brain, and I feel like this issue does builds on that. Also, something perfect that Loeb does is, building on that where Batman's in the Batcave and it's like he's working with his partner about the mystery, which is like that makes me think the animated series Batman and Robin, that's my favorite Robin. And I'm like,
Yeah,
awesome. Like that works really well. I'll shut up.
I like the dynamic of Batman and the young Robin here. I think Loeb does
Hmm.
it brilliantly. Because I remember because I just took a chapter by chapter with Bill, and I was talking like, yeah, I don't know, like I think at this point, people would dig even. I think people would get into a even younger Robin, post Spider-Man in high school MCU type jazz. I think they could pull it off. I mean, to me, it's not going to bother me either way. But um, to me, this issue is all about Gilda and Grundy. Actually, like I kind of love that
Gilda.
dynamic. Yeah,
Yeah.
like just her going back and forth with Harvey, and then Grundy gets involved. It kind of create it makes it a little bit lighter and almost scarier at the same time. But I thought that was pretty good. But Loeb just doesn't miss a beat here, man. Like he's writing two different styles, it seems like, in these two
Yeah.
books,
Yeah.
and he doesn't miss a beat. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and be like, he's writing the best two Batman books of the month.
Yes.
Like he just has,
Yep.
you know, and it's pretty impressive in my opinion that he's
Yep.
been able to keep up this level of, just perfection
Yeah. He
for two
hasn't
titles now.
like
Because Hush one blew me away. Hush two part one blew me away.
last Batman that he wrote, it'd been a while. And yet, like it is almost like you just said with Hush, of like it's almost like the next month after the original story ended, this issue came out. Like same thing here. Of he's just writing. He knows how to do this. He's got a switch. He's like, oh okay, Long Halloween, boop. Okay, Hush, boop. I want to go to the art quick of just like this 2-page spread with Freeze and like
Yeah,
the
that's cool.
two-faced criminals, or whatever. It makes me think of Dark Victory, like the shootout with Penguin and everybody
Hmm.
on the docks. And
Yeah.
I think that is the most like nod to Sale in the whole issue, and that's meant like in nothing but like in a good way. So overall, this like uh, right up there with what I just said on the last issue. Like overall, like a really good month of Batman comics, period. And then they ended it with these two, a 1-2 punch of like, holy shit, like awesome stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool to be a nerd sometimes, you know? Great to be a nerd sometimes. It's also great to talk about Batman and his friends.
Batman!
And friends.
So Pete, you had some comments about Two-Face number 4 that you put
Yeah.
in a group page or something, and I agree with all of them. This issue is my favorite of the 4. This issue is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, it's just going places I didn't expect it to go, really, and it really tells you about Harvey's like kind of like essentially his origin, his childhood. It's kind of similar to like
Building
BTAS in a
on
way.
building on the Batman annual number 14. The one
Yeah.
that if somebody can't think of which one that is, it's the iconic cover of the Two-Face done by Neil Adams.
Hmm.
That issue.
Yeah.
I think it built on that.
Yeah, it does. And like I don't know, like it reminds me of like BTAS, and it's just like we're learning about Harvey's backstory, and kind of like he's always had this kind of like persona hidden deep down. And I actually kind of like this a little bit more. This seems a little bit more modern, updated, maybe, whereas that felt a little bit more cartoony, right? Obviously for obvious reasons.
Sure.
But then to throw in the wrinkle of his mother in here at the end, like
Yeah.
really fascinating. So it's all about the internal battle for Harvey, and I
Hmm.
think that's on great display. And I love the conflict it creates within his mind.
Hmm.
It's really going places I didn't think it was going to go, and I'm very impressed because it's not
And
really about crime; it's about mental health.
and that's what's elevated Two-Face is when that has always remained the internal struggle.
Mhm.
He can do the two gags, flipping the coin, all that stuff. Like that's why we bought tickets to the show. But how do we keep buying tickets to the show? It's like to bring the humanistic quality of like Harvey Dent, the internal struggles. Always make sure to keep that there. And I just think Christian Ward, he wrote a really great issue all about that, building on the previous 3 issues where, I'm not gonna lie, like the first issue, I think when they did that, all of a sudden we're in this different place where it's whole face, not Two-Face. And
I
I'm kind
love
of
Whole
like,
Face.
what is this? Like, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like his mind, and he built on that to make it all just, oh, it all makes sense. Like this totally works now.
Hmm.
I thought it was a great issue. Excellent stuff.
I loved it.
And then let's see, outside of that one, I then had Nightwing number 124. Daniel Waters. You heard of him? He's doing another like fun here. This issue is better than last month's issue. Um,
It's still out
it's
there, but yeah.
it's still a little out there, but a little less out there. I think the star of this is Dexter Soy, the artist.
Mhm.
Freaking awesome art, especially when it's Cirque du Sin. I think that's the villain's name.
Yeah.
Whenever like the
Very
pages with
creepy.
him, yeah, very creepy. The coloring and stuff on that is
It's very
awesome.
Moon Knight,
And
if you
like
ask me.
pulling back like it's almost like a curtain like to reveal a panel, like that
Mhm.
kind of layout stuff is really awesome too. So if nothing else, like that's been keeping me going because it's like, oh, whatever, this Cirque du Sin guy, like that's some creepy shit. I love that. I dig that. There's some robots and some bug people also popping in where
They
I'm
remind me of
like,
Ed 209s. I was like,
okay.
oh, look, the Batman version of Ed 209.
Okay. And then a woman takes off her face at the end, but we don't see what's under her face. So it's like, okay, we'll see.
And then there's like
We'll
a whole
see.
Nightwing gang. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
wondering if
So
Waters is starting to bite off more than he can chew because this has gotten pretty heavy.
yeah, I think I needed to be brought back in because there was the issue. Oh man, running
The
two,
first two issues really
two.
got me, and then the last two, I was kind of like, oh, this is.
There was one of him flashing back where, in the tent, I think after Dick in the tent with Bruce there or something like that. Like that issue
Mhm.
was fantastic. And I think then it's gone to some place that I'm like, huh. I don't know, and I don't know exactly. Okay, like, oh no, never mind. I'm kind of
Okay.
getting it. Well, the last page, I think I was a little confused at first, but I think it's hitting me now. But then it's also weird in how it says on with the show finale, Ringmaster. And this did not feel like a finale to an arc at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'll keep reading it. It's definitely not like it's not
It's not
bad
bad,
at
but
all.
it's like at some point you're gonna be like, I can feel a
Hmm.
bad issue coming.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I'm like, all right, come on. You had me. You had me for three
you lost
issues.
some steam
Bring
here.
me back in. Bring me back in. So
Yeah.
okay, and that does it for me. Batman and Friends. What do you got?
Yeah, I got Catwoman 74, which is a cool just Catwoman on the run, which is fun. So check that out. That's a good one. Poison Ivy 31, which I thought is great. I keep trying to get people to read this book. This book's phenomenal. Obviously, people have been reading it, but I want to get more people to read it. Just this kind of interesting ghost tale town involving Ivy and the Green, and it's kind of got a little bit of a magical monster element to it. So it's really good. I really want people to read this book because I really love it a whole lot. Batgirl, number 5 just continues on with everything involving Cassandra and Lady Shiva as we delve into that mother-daughter relationship. So that's a little bit interesting. If you're liking what Kennedy Johnson's doing in Batman and Robin, then I think
Not Tom Taylor, Philip
not
Kennedy
Tom Taylor.
Johnson in
Yeah, I
Batman and
got it
Robin.
right
Okay,
this
gotcha,
time.
gotcha.
Brown Ball is doing something very comparable with Shiva and Batgirl. And then the highlight of the month for Batman and Friends
Ooh,
was DC Sonic the Hedgehog.
ooh,
Now,
I didn't read that.
yeah, this is like I now know how Lauer felt when he read Batman Scooby Doo because that's how I felt. Like this is totally a kid's book. It's watered down. It moves fast. There's
You're a big
definitely
Sonic
some
fan, right?
plot holes. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a lot of fun. Especially the Batman shadow sequences are great. Every Sonic character has like their super hero DC counterpart, which is cool. And again, it's definitely a kid's book, but it's very enjoyable. It's very fun. If they're gonna make a Batman Sonic book, I'd rather it be kind of kid oriented than
Yeah.
give it to Scott
Gritty and
Snyder.
grimy.
The last thing I need is Scott Snyder writing Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean it though of like that one because I think you tweeted out or something about how much you liked that issue right after you finished reading it.
Yeah, it
And
was just fun and dumb. Like I
when you
loved it.
recommend it to me, I told you that's when my ears perk up because it's not like you just say everything you read that
I
you're
mean, I've
like,
been
read,
trying to
read,
get you
read
to read
it.
Poison Ivy, but you won't do that for some reason.
I think I read like the first 16 issues, Pete.
Yeah, I think you need to read more.
Yeah, I think it is, I guess. But this
Somebody hates
This
redheads.
DC not true. The DC Sonic book I'll definitely check out. So I can put it on my list for next month. And that'll do it. Pete, I have to ask you though. Got a question.
Yes, you've got a question?
No.
Okay. All right, there you go. What was your favorite issue of the month, Pete?
Oh, it's Batman 158. It's
okay.
easily the best issue of the month, and anyone's saying otherwise.
If somebody said last Halloween number 6, I'd have no beef.
I have no beef. Yeah, and
Batman and
anyone
Robin
who
year
says
one, number
absolute
6, I'd
batshit
have
number
no
6,
beef.
I'd have
I'd
beef.
have no beef. But I'm right there with you. I had my expectations in check to not expect way too much, and I got a full course meal out of that issue that I went back for seconds and read it again. And I'm gonna read it again because it was just a blast.
Yeah.
Loved Last Halloween, loved Batman and Robin year one. Absolutely.
I don't
But
love Absolute Guano. That joke
no,
sucks.
okay. Bat Guano number 6.
Absolute Bat Guano number 7 next month by Scott Snyder.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll listen to this and be like, man, if Dan Waters turned it around for Pete, I can do it too.
He's like, this is the asshole who took a picture with me at the All-Star Batman
Yeah.
signing.
The
I was like, yeah, because that was good.
And he's like, and then absolute Batman number 7 is just nothing but boobs everywhere.
Actually, no, it was All-Star. It was All-Star Batman. Yeah, that Two-Face training book. Yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I love
that was good
Batman.
Batman.
I like the All-Star Batman one.
Yeah,
That was
I
good.
got him to sign a couple issues of All-Star Batman.
Yeah,
I
because you
just don't
sent me
like
one
this.
as a Christmas present.
I did. You're welcome. Remember that.
Santa Claus right here.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Great. Like I said earlier, I think a great month on comics.
Only one
Pete's-
bad book in the
I was
bunch.
gonna say there's one book that Pete has strong opinions negatively about, and I think that's probably the only one that I was even like, you know, That's fine, but positively fine. I think
Like,
all
I'm
the
trying to
rest,
think, like,
all the rest, I was like, I liked or
I know
loved it.
Adam loves it, Bill loves it, Patrick Johnson loves it, Javi loves it.
Javi's not up to speed. He even said in recording with Bill that I
I
think
thought
he's got
Javi
to
was a
wait for it
fan.
to
I'm
collect.
sorry.
So no, no, no.
Oh, I thought
I
Javi
think
was
he read
into
the
it.
first one or two.
Okay.
I think.
Because
But yeah,
I
I just
just
found
don't
this
get
out
it.
too, and I'm like,
Don't get it.
well, Javi, maybe your mind's gonna change if you continue reading.
Like, I don't want to talk about Batman R.I.P. with Javi because we just don't see eye to eye. But this, I'm like fast. I want to interview him like I'm Walter Cronkite. Like, so what is it about Absolute Backwater that you love? Like, I'm just so curious. I really want to pick his brain on this book.
I'd love to listen to that. I would. Like I
I
really
would.
would. Because like I said, I can't like argue with your opinions on it. It's just it doesn't bug me as much as it is you. And so that to me also kind of fascinates me because of the whole, like I said, anybody like what you like. I don't care. But there's a lot of things here I swear you are actively not a fan of, and it works here for you somehow. And
It's
that
a little bit of a
interests me. I'm like, how
contradiction.
does it do that?
Yeah.
Huh? How does it do that?
And like,
Interesting.
I'm glad it's selling well, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
you know, again, like, I don't want any Batman comic to fail.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just, you know,
If
I'm
people
not
aren't
really.
buying comics, we aren't going to get any more comics. So,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
get
they're,
why they did it and everything. I know Scott Snyder's probably for this generation, right? Like, he's probably the
yeah,
biggest writer. You know,
absolutely.
Court of Owls brought everyone back to comics, especially
Yeah,
Waid back in the day.
yeah.
So, you know, it was huge. But
Was New 52 2011? So
somewhere around there.
we know of your crowd that you've titled Gen 13. There's also some that are Gen 11 probably then.
Yeah, I mean,
You think?
there's the Gen 13s are strictly a movie
Yeah,
reference, right? Because
yeah.
you know, and they all came out of the woodworks after that, and then quickly in 2023 they all kind of died out
Where'd they
automatically.
go? Where'd they go, Pete?
I don't know. It was a mixture between Vero and Blue Sky.
Oh, good
I
old
think
Vero.
I think a couple of the less fortunate ones went to Threads.
Oh, jeez.
You know,
Oh, boy.
really
Yeah,
scattered out.
yeah,
Because you know, last week's Affleck article created no noise, whereas years ago,
yeah. Got a couple
uh,
clicks and then moving on.
yeah, I was like, okay, no one cares about this bullshit
He's not
anymore.
back as Batman? Damn it. All
Yeah,
right.
you know, I said that to Bill. I was like, man, that group really kind of faded out as soon as,
Did.
which you know, we're very
Got
happy
what they
about.
got what they wanted.
Yeah, and they were quickly out the door. Just
And
again,
then
like, show you who the real fans are.
that's right.
Me and Laura, we never left. We didn't have to come back.
Thank
We've been
you.
here since
You know,
we just went from movies to print.
you know what? Batman Book Club, Pete, you and I have been back since March 4th of 2020 when we dropped the very first episode of the Batman Book Club. We've been back since then.
We built this house. We never left.
Yeah.
You can build a parking deck around it if you want. I'm not moving.
And for the record, I think you and I did enjoy what we were talking about of like what the Gen 13 got in their last goal. So it's not like we're shitting on content, just shitting on
No.
idiots that deserve to get shit on.
Oh, there's
Anyways,
idiots. There's tons of idiots.
there's a lot of idiots
Then there's
everywhere.
the Justice League U crowd who watched a couple cartoons and all of a sudden think they're
I
experts.
really thought you were gonna say something about Justin Kowalski. You
No,
hadn't mentioned him yet,
well,
but here we go. We don't have
Kowalski,
time.
I
We're
mean,
wrapping up, so I guess
if you want to mention me any of the dumb things Kowalski said, my favorite is and always will be that Momoa will never play Lobo. So Kowalski said that and that totally backfired. But you know, he can't keep track of his trolls, so that's
no
what
goodness.
happens. You know?
On that awesome note, we're all friends here. Peter, Vera, thanks for doing the work. You always do the work. Appreciate it. Why don't you go ahead and plug away?
Socially Pete Illustrated, Straight Outta Gotham with Eric Holzman, Spider-Man Coalition with a bunch of
Holzman.
other people. Holzman, yeah, which I believe I think he's in Guatemala right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just traveling, you know,
That's what he does.
doing Holsey things.
Yep.
Um,
Spreading the seed worldwide.
That's right, Esmeralda. But Brian Lauer's the Batman Book Club, the podcast you're listening to right now.
Yeah.
And then Rachel Ramey's Batman on Film podcast. I'm a big fan of that. So check me out over there.
She runs that show.
That's the truth.
All right. So as for me and the Batman Book Club, follow on the social media stuff at the Batman BC. Latest episode drops, upcoming episodes, sometimes some giveaways. Peter and I are going to go to No Man's Land. It's going to happen. So subscribe to the Batman.
I've been
Book Club
trying to
YouTube
get
channel.
Lauer to go to No Man's Land. He doesn't want to meet me. He's like, I can't do that date. I got special things to do.
Can't
I've
work
got to
yet.
polish my Batman figurines.
Yeah. I got to dust. Got to dust. If you want to support the show, a number of ways you can do that. Patreon.com/TheBatmanBC, tpublic.com, type in TBBC for the Batman Book Club. But if you don't
Buy
want to
t-shirts so then Lauer can hire a maid and he doesn't have to dust.
Ooh, I like that idea.
There you go.
That's a good idea right there. Rate and review the show. You can help spread the word there. Just go however you listen to the show, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, whatever. Just go to the rate and review part of it and rate and review the show, because the more reviews the show gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as we all know, that word is panic. So, for Peter R. Verra, I am Ryan Lauer, and until next time, remember,